Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be making my predictions for Gameweek 27 of the 25-26 EFL Championship season. But as always, before we begin, let's see how I did last week. I got one outcome and scoreline correct. I got Leicester City beating West Brom 2-1, plus 3 more outcomes correct, so that's 6 points, taking my season total up to 189. And this is how the championship table looks after 26 matches. And without further ado, let's predict this weekend's coming matches. And we're going to start with tomorrow night. It's West Brom against Middlesbrough. And West Brom with a penalty shootout victory over Swansea in the FA Cup. Borough with a 3-1 defeat to Fulham. It's interesting. Since we last made predictions, Ryan Mason has left West Bromwich Albion, and forgot the guy's name who came in. Eric Ramsey has come in as West Brom manager. Borough on up and down form as well. They were on a pretty poor run of form, 3 defeats in 5 matches, and then they went and battered Southampton 4-0 last time out. It wouldn't surprise me, given the potential new manager bounce, if West Brom got something here. But I'm putting all my eggs in the Borough basket. I'm going to bet Borough to win 2-1. I think Middlesbrough just have enough to get the 3 points and stay in the top 2. 2-1 Borough. Next up, we've got another big match. It's Coventry City against Leicester City. And Coventry, they are still top of the table by about 6 points, despite being on a pretty poor run of form recently. And Leicester, while they're 12th in the table, they're on up and down form as well, actually. They quite hard to predict. I think with some business, both these sides might do some more moving in January this month and build upon it. I just don't know if Coventry, I trust them at the moment. I'm going to go for Desmond, a 2-2 draw on game 2 here. I think a point will help Coventry stay top of the table for another week at least, so a 2-2 draw on this one. And then the last of our top 3, we've got Ipswich Town against Blackburn Rovers. And Ipswich off the back of a 2-1 victory in the Cup to Blackpool over Blackpool. Blackburn Rovers with the goalless draw and then penalty shootout defeat to Hull in the Cup. It was a boring game from what I've heard. As for this one, Ipswich are actually on pretty decent form right now. I know there are a few people's favourites to go on and win the league. I wouldn't put it past them either. But I think the gap to Coventry might just be too significant. But I do think they'll win this game. As the Blackburn side, who are struggling for goals recently, they're struggling on their form. I'm going to give them a goal though. I am going to give them a goal, but I'm going to back Ipswich for the win, 2-1. I think Ipswich need to keep the pressure on Middlesbrough for the top 2, so 2-1 to the Tractor Boys. Next up, we've got a playoff 6-pointer. It's Watford against Millwall. And, well, both these sides have been fairly impressive this season, to be in the playoffs, although I do think it is quite a low tide to get in there this season. Watford are on the better form, though. They did lose quite heavily. I think it might have been 5-1 to Bristol City in the Cup. Millwall also losing heavy. I think it was like 5-1 to Burnley. with Watford being the home side here, I could see Watford getting all 3 points, but Millwall can get results on their day over the line. I do think I'm going to back them for a draw here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think a point may help both sides. It depends on other teams' results outside the top 6, but a 1-1 draw and potentially a helpful draw for one of these sides at least. Next up, we've got Southampton against Hull City. And Southampton off the back of a 3-2 victory against Doncaster in the Cup. Hull off the back of the penalty shootout victory against Blackburn. However, in the league, Hull are the much better side at the minute. This game is at St Mary's, so I could see Southampton getting something here. But I'm not confident to predict a win because we keep dropping points on a regular basis at the minute, and 15th in the league. We need to start getting points to gradually climb the table. Hull are just a place outside the playoffs. Hull might end back in the playoffs this week. However, I'm going to sit on the fence with a 2-2 draw. I think a draw is a much better result for Hull, but I think it might end in the Desmond because I do think Southampton, being the home side, have the quality to win this match or to get a result from this match. So a 2-2 draw is where I'm going. Next up, we've got Sheffield Wednesday against Portsmouth, and this is a hard one to predict. Now, what's interesting is Portsmouth are actually the only side Sheffield Wednesday have beaten this season. So if Sheffield Wednesday win this, then they'd have done the double over Pompey this season. But do I see it happening, though? They put up a fairly good fight in the FA Cup against Brentford, despite losing 2-0. Portsmouth losing, 5-1 to Arsenal in the Cup. As much as I'd love to see Sheffield Wednesday get a result here, it's got to be Portsmouth, surely. Portsmouth haven't been on terrible form. I'm going to edge Portsmouth 2-1. I think Sheffield Wednesday can get results at home, but I'm backing Pompey for the 3 points. 2-1 to Portsmouth to move even further clear of trouble. Next up, we've got Preston North End against Derby County. And, oh boy, all signs point to this being quite a cagey match. This two sides who rarely like to score or concede many goals. Preston obviously losing 1-0 to Wigan in the FA Cup. Derby losing 3-1 to Leeds. Preston, despite this, though, they are 4th in the table. They are, well, I wouldn't say they're in the automatic race, but they are there. And if they can keep getting results, who says they can't maybe go up through the playoffs? Which is incredible. Derby aren't in great form, are they? I'm going to back Preston for a narrow win. Preston win it 1-0. I think it's going to be close, but Preston tend to get 3 points over the line quite consistently this season. So I'm backing Preston for a 1-0 win. Very close, though. Next up, we've got Oxford United against Bristol City. And, well, Oxford with a penalty shootout win over MK Dons in the Cup. Bristol City coming off the back of a 5-1 hammering of Watford. But, I don't know. Of course, Matt Bloomfield has just come in as Oxford boss. Looking forward to seeing what he can do once again in the Championship. He brought Wycombe and Luton both down, but I don't know. I think, well, Bristol City are tricky side to read as well. They haven't been on the best run of form recently, but I think Oxford might have a slight new manager bounce here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think a point doesn't really help Oxford or Bristol City in their bids for survival and playoffs, but I do see it ending in a draw. So 1-1 then. That might be a better result for Oxford, given the circumstances. So a 1-1 draw. Next up, we've got Stoke City against QPR. And this is an interesting one. Stoke, off the back of a 1-0 victory over Coventry in the FA Cup. QPR losing narrowly in extra time 2-1 to West Ham. Stoke off the back of 3 clean sheet victories. They're in pretty good run of form. But QPR are maybe the hardest side to predict in the whole league this season. Because they're such a streaky team. They go on winning streaks and then losing streaks. I don't know though. I just feel like QPR are performing quite well. They performed fairly well against West Ham in the FA Cup. I think Stoke might go up early and then QPR might get a goal back in the second half. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw on this one. Don't know who that's a better result for, but I do think a 1-1 draw is where it will end. I think QPR can somehow get a point out of this. So a 1-1 draw on this one. Next up, we've got Wrexham against Norwich City. Battle of 2 sides that are in fairly good form in the league. Wrexham, they're 9th? They're actually just a point outside the playoffs now, and a win could be very crucial. And it is at the racecourse, they are the home side. And of course, they're just coming off the back of a penalty shootout victory against Nottingham Forest in the Cup. Norwich off the back of a 5-1 victory over Walsall in the FA Cup. Wrexham have 5 straight wins. Norwich, they're in good form, although there are some rumours about Josh Sargent maybe moving in January. Can't back against Wrexham, but I think there'll be loads of goals in this one. But I can't back against the Welsh side. I'm going Wrexham to win 3-2. I think their form will continue and somehow will score many goals. So 3-2 to Wrexham, to maybe even push them into the playoffs. Next up, we've got Charlton Athletic against Sheffield United. In a battle of 2 sides that are on, differing forms right now. Charlton have really had a dip in form over the last month or two. Sheffield United is vice versa. They're actually top of the 10-game form table in the Championship. And they are absolutely flying. Chris Wilder's really got a run going at the Blades. I can't see anything other than a Sheffield United win here. Their last game was called off, but I do think they will win here, and they tend to score goals despite actually losing 4-3 to Mansfield in the Cup. I do think they have enough to win this. I'm going Sheffield United to win 3-1. I think they'll get back to firing ways and get the 3 points over the line. 3-1 Sheffield United to continue their chase for playoffs. And then the final game is Swansea City against Birmingham City. And Swansea off the back of a penalty shootout defeat to West Brom. Birmingham off the back of a 3-2 victory away at Cambridge United. But the reason I say away is their away form in the league this season has been woeful. Been on terrible form on the road. Swansea can get good results over the line, I hope. I'm just wondering, do Birmingham bounce back from the Cambridge win and get something away from home. Is their confidence back? But I don't go and back Swansea enough this season for what they're doing, and I do think that Swansea may actually win this. I don't think Birmingham's winning the cup's going to really help them in the league here. I'm going Swansea to win 2-1. I think next week or whenever Birmingham are back at St Andrews, I'll probably back them to at least draw. But I do think that Swansea will get the 3 points over the line this weekend. So 2-1 to the Swans. And there you have it, guys. All 12 championship matches for this weekend predicted. Make sure to let me know your predictions in the comments down below. And we'll see how well these turn out when I'm back in the UK next week. But for now, I'll see you all in the next one.